EMD? Well, you might be asking, what the heck is EMD? So EMD in our business, in the real estate business, is known as earnest money deposit, EMD. Well, it turns out that there's an assumption by us realtors that you as buyers know what EMD is and what the requirements are for earnest money, and it turns out you don't. So this is a little quick rundown for you. All right, so once all parties agree to a contract and all parties have signed, you now have a binding contract. Earnest money is typically provided after all parties have come to an agreement and all parties have signed. It is a condition of the contract. It doesn't seal the deal, essentially. All the signatures on the contract from both buyer and seller is what seals the deal. So earnest money is a negotiable dollar amount. It a lot of times will depend on the type of property that you have, that you're putting an offer in on, or the price of the property. That's going to be a big factor as well. And earnest money can range anywhere from $1,000 up to tens of thousands of dollars when you get into some very high-end properties in the millions of dollars range. And that's a conversation for you and I to have, and for me to help guide you on what would be probably the most appealing and reasonable earnest money to put down. Now, keep in mind there's contingencies in place. If you're financing, you have a financing contingency. If you're doing an inspection on the property and that's been negotiated in, you have an inspection period. So there are contingencies that most likely will be in the offer as well that helps to protect your earnest money in the event something changes and you're not able to go forward, and it's during those contingent periods of time. And that's something you and I will discuss up front. So now we've determined how much earnest money you're going to put down on the property, and once all parties have signed it, you can do a couple different things. If you're here locally and you have one of those things called a checkbook, do you have a checkbook? You can literally go take that check and drop it off at the title company, since most title companies are going to be here and local to us. If you don't, and you're from out of state, out of town, you're going to have the wiring instructions sent to you by the title company. They're either going to ask you to sign onto a portal so they can send you secured wiring instructions, or whatever method that they use to make sure that you are getting the wiring instructions. And you're going to need to verify those before you actually send money, because there's a lot of scam that goes on revolving title companies, earnest money, interceptions of emails and things like that. So they want to make sure that that is sent very, very, very securely. Now, when is it due? So earnest money, you can negotiate that as well, but we have a default in our contract for 3 days after all parties have signed the contract. So let's say you sign it on a Friday. It's actually going to be due on Monday by close of business, because it goes off of calendar days, not business days. If you need a couple more days than that to transfer funds, etc., you're traveling back home, you need to get to the bank, that's something you and I can discuss, and we can put in some little bit different terms. But 3 days is pretty much the normal. I've had people do it the following day because we might be in a competitive offer situation. So now you know your amount is negotiable. You and I will talk about it. Your time frame to get it in is after all parties have signed the contract, typically about 3 days. It's going to go to the title company, and that it can be refundable under certain conditions if you have certain contingencies within your contract. So now you know about earnest money. Hence, you can use the word EMD. I know what EMD is. So thank you for watching this short little video on EMD. And if you like my channel, please like it and subscribe. There's a little button down there somewhere. And if you like my contact information, it is at the end of this video. Give me a call. Let's talk some real estate. And have a wonderful day from Panama City Beach, Florida. Bye.